In today's video, what I'm going to show you is how to cut the hairline back to make it look more natural. You'll notice that whenever you get a system, it will have this line, it's kind of like a piece of the part of the poly that, let's see if you guys can see this. I'm trying to do this in a camera, so bear with me. But what you'll see is this little line of plastic, and I've already pre-cut this whenever it was on my head, back a little bit. And what that does is, sometimes you can see that shine come through whenever the sun hits it or something like that. It's not a big deal, but in order to make it look a little bit more natural, we're going to cut ours back to closer to the hairline to where you won't see that. Usually, a lot of people do this on when they're wearing the system because they can see it and they can get up underneath the system better. But I'm going to try to do this since I've taken my system off and I'm doing a reapply. I thought it was a good, a good situation, a good way to be able to try to do that, manually and where I can see it better. The key here is to make sure that, I've cleaned the system and cleaned all the glue off of it so you can see it's nice and clean. The thing is it's still got some of that C22 in it, which that's what makes it look a little oily here, but that's a good thing because what that does is allows me to pull this hair back away from the front of the system and keep it back. See how it's back and it's away from the system like that, to where, because you don't want that hair to fall in front, because if it falls in front of the system and you cut in front of there, what it'll do is it'll create a line of hair that will stick down, and that won't look natural at all. We don't want that. So what I'm going to try to do is try to utilize this, the having that oil in that hair from that C22 to where it'll keep it back like that, to where it gives me a nice clean line to cut off of. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start from one side to the other, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in one hand, get this hair pulled back out of the way of the system, and I'm going to try to do this so you guys can see it. You see that hairline there. There we go. Alright, we're going to try to take this and we're going to just barely cut along the line here. Don't worry about if it's not perfectly straight, because that doesn't matter. We don't want a perfectly straight hairline anyway. That would look goofy, and we definitely don't want that. See how that looks better right through there? It's going to give you a more natural hairline to go off of. I'll continue cutting along this line here. And this is the first time I've done this, so we're learning together on this one. That's what the process is all about. Let's try different things. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. I believe that this is going to be the best way to do this here. I don't know. We'll figure it out once we try to get this thing back on and see what happens. But I know that, sometimes when you put that system on and you see that, especially with a poly, I've never tried a lace. This is all I've ever known, is that when you see that system and you see that piece of poly that kind of shines, that kind of bugs the crap out of me personally. Okay. There we go. There we go. See how we're doing that there? A little bit more here. I'll go back and clean this up. Alright, now we have the last little bit here. Let me get to where you guys can see that. See that right there? I'm going to go back and clean this up off camera too, because it's kind of hard to do this and show you guys what's happening at the same time. done. I'm gonna get a little bit here. And like I said, this is, all part of the learning process. Let's see what we got here. And if you have to, I've noticed that because, on my first system I ever did, I did it the wrong way and cut it and created this stupid hairline. But what I did was I went back and started plucking some of those small hairs, and it was a complete pain in the butt. But I got most of them out, and it looked pretty natural. But you can see right there, see how we got, the hairline cut back a little bit. And like I said, I mean, it's all part of the learning process. So if we get it on there and we notice that we need to cut a little bit more, that's fine. I mean, but that's what you want to do. I mean, you can always cut more off. You can't put more back on. So, that's what we want to try, and we're gonna put this on and see how it works out. Okay, and there you have it. Here's the finished hairline. Yeah, and one of those, that's the good thing I like about using the glue that I use is that it creates a thicker mill base, and whenever that front hairline sits down on top of that mill base, and mills just means the thickness of the different layers of, like when you're painting a car and you go from a primer coat to a mid coat to the top coat to the clear coat, those are all creating levels in there, and that's what a mill is. It's the different levels of thicknesses. And so what I find is when I use that thicker glue, it creates a thicker bond. It's almost like the thickness almost of like a tape. So whenever it lays down, that this is what we want, is we want that hairline to just the front line of this poly just to disappear into the glue. And so that's the goal that we want to have with that. So that's it on cutting a hairline. Thanks for watching, and please remember, if you like the content, subscribe, make a comment below. Let me know if I did something wrong. Let me know if I did something right. Hey, this is Deer to Hair. This is Matty D. I'm driving. I just wanted to throw this little quick video at the end. I'd show you how my hair turned out doing the new hairline. It's a little bit farther back. It's got I use leave-in conditioner whenever I first do the redo on the hair. So you can see how it turned out. I like it. It's a little bit farther back this time, and I think that whenever you're doing you can cut that hairline back and you can get it more into where it's up into the hairline. It looks more natural, and it looks better. So like I said, if you like the comments, if you like the content, leave a comment below. Love to hear from you guys.